would like to help you to feel more powerfully. Something that we know that you all want to know about, you all want to feel, but you've managed over time to build barricades and separations between who you are in your physical body and who you really are as source energy. And so sometimes you feel negative emotions that you describe as fearful or insecure or worried or lonely. And what you're describing really with every negative emotion is you having chosen, because you always do, to focus on something that is vibrationally different enough from your broader point of view that you've introduced enough resistance into your energy field that you are depriving yourself of the fullness of the results that you want. The fullness of the presence of source, or the fullness of the presence of someone that you care about, or the fullness of the presence of the manifestation that you've been working on. In other words, you are the only one who can allow or deprive yourself of anything that you want. And it's all about the vibrational stance. Therefore, it's all about the thoughts you think. Therefore, it's all about the way you feel. And when you get that all together, when you acknowledge that the way I feel is about what I'm doing vibrationally, and what I'm doing vibrationally is about what I'm thinking about, and it all comes down to focus, and I can focus on something that feels good, or I can focus on something that feels bad, every time, every moment, every place, everywhere, everyone. I can do this. But it takes some practice, and we encourage you to start with easy things. Practice your focus on the things that it's easy to focus on. Or practice your focus on the things that matter the most to you, because they come up the most often, so eventually you can work it out if you want to. But when you discover your ability to focus and feel, focus and feel, focus and feel, focus and feel, before you know it, you're going to discover the genius of feeling and focus, feeling and focus, feeling and focus. Because once you figure out how to find something that causes you to feel good, and you focus on it long enough that you establish a pattern of that thought, and therefore a pattern of that feeling, you begin to establish for yourself what we have recently been calling an emotional grid. It's like the beginning. It's like an emotional foundation. It's like the foundation of anything. But a foundation, a vibrational foundation, is such a marvelous thing to understand and behold. Because once you accomplish an emotional foundation, law of attraction will fill it in at all levels with things that match it. And your life just becomes rich and full with what you've been calling coincidences, and they are coincidences, but we want to say a coincidence is not a freaky act of nature. It's not a lucky happenstance. A coincidence is an incidence that is cooperatively happening because of the cooperative components that are coming to you in response to the vibrational offering that you're offering. In other words, these coincidences mean converging. It means coming together. It means aligning with things that match how you are dominantly feeling. So once you begin to deliberately conjure by virtue of focusing on things that you know will make you feel good, because last time you focused upon them, they did, so you know that it did it once, so you're going to try it again. Sort of like when you go to a buffet. Really, you're really good at this. When you go to a buffet and you get something in your mouth that is horrible, do you keep going back and trying it again? Oh, I'm going back with my plate. Why? Because it was awful, and I'm going to try to train it into something different. It was just horrible. So you start with things that you know taste good, vibrationally, emotionally, and you focus upon them, and you use that focus with the deliberate intention of establishing an emotional grid that we promise you will fill in with more details. We've had quite an interesting conversation today, and from our perspective, it was emphatically out there on the leading edge. We often come together and have conversations about things that truly take thought beyond where they have been before. But this one is especially satisfying today, not only because we've moved into some new places. Esther will so love listening back to this and finding all of the new pieces that she's wanting to highlight for you, but because it is established within so many of you a renewed interest in getting back to the basics of your vibrational frequency, sort of taking it out of your head and putting it more into your heart, so to speak, into the vibrational beingness. And because of the conversations that we've had, we know that you know that the grid will fill in with the details of life that you describe as meaningful physical reality. There's no separating non-physical from physical. And we've all come so far. You are out here on the leading edge, and that's the part that we think you got with greater clarity here today. That creation is happening here, and that Source is joining you here, and that this is where the party really is. And that there are times when you allow a full recognition of the bliss and beauty and perfection of you and of life, and there are times that you don't. And we think that if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would be reveling in this new knowledge. Jerry said to Esther the other day, and she heard him laughing so hard while he said it. She was asking him a business question, something specifically about something that she was wondering what to do about. And his words to her were, well, if I was standing in my physical shoes. And then she realized that he can stand all day if he wants to in her physical shoes, although she rarely does herself. In other words, there need be no separation from you and you. So as you are moving forward in the days that are before you, it is our desire that you pay attention, make the conscious correlation between the new things that are happening and the understanding that came over you here today. Because it is certain that your grid will fill in with things that are unique enough that you will recognize that they're happening because of what happened here. You see what we're getting at? And when you make that correlation, then we think that you'll deliberately go to work on your grid and then let the good times roll. Because there is nothing more exhilarating than for you to define something that you want by being aware of its absence, recognize that its absence has caused an emotion within you that is the conjuring of a grid that isn't going to serve you, and then deliberately changing the vantage point, the vibrational vantage point at the basis, and doing it with such ease that it just is amazing to you that you hadn't thought of it sooner. And then to watch the precision with which the universe will proceed to deliver to you matching components to fill that in. And we promise you we will be there reveling with you in your conscious awareness that you created the basis and now the universe has cooperated. Your feeling of worthiness and your feeling of empowerment will come in proportion to the amount of emotional grids that you care to build. If we were standing in your physical shoes, and we often are, we would be making lists of positive aspects, and we would be reveling in the general perfection of your planet. We would awaken in the morning and speak our appreciation for the sun coming up, whether you can see it or not. We would acknowledge the perfection of your planet spinning in its orbit, whether you can see any other planets at that moment or not. We would feel appreciation for the intelligence of our physical body and for what the cells are doing, for what they know how to do. We would feel appreciation for the bed upon which we had slept and the pillow beneath our head. And we would bask in the deliciousness of the coverings upon our body. And we would acknowledge at the beginning of every day, this is a good day. I have such a good basis from which to begin. All is well with me. Source energy is aware of me and has my back. And everything that matters to me is known, and all things are lined up. And I'm on an eternal treasure hunt of treasures, because the universe knows what I seek and knows where those treasures are, and is pointing me on the path of least resistance to the adventure and the fun and the thrill that I have defined as my desire. It is so delicious to create with you. It is so fun to walk on your beaches and sleep in your beds and eat at your table and revel in your expansion, when all along what you were seeking was your natural and well-deserved joy. Most of our human friends still don't really believe that, because they think the circumstances that are surrounding them dictate how they feel. Because most humans are observers of their environment and offers of a vibration that is equal to the environment that they are observing. And that's what makes you feel like you need to control your environment. Can't do it. That's what makes you feel like you need to or want to control your environment. Can't do it. But that's why you keep trying to control your environment. Can't do that. Can't do it. Can't do it. Give it up. 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 Can't do it. You cannot control your environment. And when you stop trying to control your environment, then you have awareness of those emotional signals that let you know what you're doing with your thoughts. But as long as you're still believing that if I could control that environment and make it better, and then I would have a much better relationship with the experience, because if my children were behaving better, or if the government would... We can't even decide which phrase to choose. There are a lot of them that you have been offering. Then I would feel better. Then I would feel better. If that condition would resolve itself, then my observation of it would go so much better for me. And therefore, I think that you need to do something about the way I feel. And the thing that's so tricky about that is that no one is working too hard to control the conditions so that you can feel better, because it's not their job to do it. So where does that leave you? There are all kinds of things that you're looking around at that don't please you. What do? Put your head in the sand? You'd feel better. But we're not really advocating a complete withdrawal from life that annoys you. What we are encouraging is a new determination to focus, and a joyful discovery that you can, first of all, focus, and next, that you can focus in ways that feel good, and next, that when you do, all kinds of resources join you, and the resources that join you are the joyful resources that you've been looking for in the improvement of the conditions that you can't control all along. There, we're done. Now you know everything that's important to know, so just go figure out how to make it work in your life. Because words don't teach, do they? It's only life experience that gives you your understanding. And sometimes we are fortunate enough that we can hit on some words that are meaningful because you've just lived something that makes what we're saying brighten for you, or what you've just lived brighten for you. And that's the advantage of coming together in these collective forums where we can chew together. There's a huge advantage in you all being here on this planet together, interacting with one another and providing for each other relationships with each other and relationships with the environment that you are co-creating together. It's really the best of all worlds. There is great love here for you. And as always, we remain stubbornly in the vortex.